I see over here, Darcy next to you.
We're still doing mail?
Oh, I was gonna say I see a spooky chicken nugget.
Yeah.
But also there is a mailbag right next to it, yes. I know everyone put in some letters, and I'm sure everyone would love to hear you read some letters.
He's handed a whole mailbag of every letter that we
It's
got.
in your hands now, it's up to you.
Really? Well, what are we going to do? Just grab one at random?
I have no idea.
What if it's like pornographic or something?
Even
You're
better.
welcome.
All right. Here's one that looks a little suspicious. I always like the ones that are on 3-punch notebook paper. Oh, it's for you.
For me?
Yeah? You want to read it? Hi, Darcy. I just wanted to say thank you to you and Joe Bob for all you do. I enjoy your cosplay on the last drive-in, especially your costume for Exorcist 3.
Oh, I met you outside.
What was that one? With the scissors? Yeah.
They scared you.
You got me with that jump scare. My husband and I enjoy watching Last Drive-In together. He's been a longtime Joe Bob fan since Monster Vision. He converted me. See, I love that. That's what I love. He converted me when Last Drive-In got started. This is how we are celebrating our 10-year marriage anniversary. Hogzilla.
It's their anniversary.
Signed Jen from Colorado. What are you doing here, Jen? You're celebrating your 10-year marriage anniversary. Where are you, Jen? And where's your husband?
What?
Your husband is over there on your 10-year anniversary? And you came 2,000 miles to celebrate your 10-year anniversary in Poughkeepsie? Oh, he's from here. So he dragged you 2,000 miles from Denver? Okay. All right, great.
Happy anniversary. Thank you.
But yes, people don't realize how much behind the scenes Darcy contributes to the show, including her vast knowledge of horror and her like programming instincts. And she has a big. That's what she's. Did you listen to the letter? The letter. It was Dear Darcy.
It was and Joe Bob.
And your cosplay. And Exorcist 3.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
So anyway, all right. Thank you, Jen. And you know what? They wanted me to tell a joke to end this. To end this particular part of the show, and as everyone knows, I steal all of my jokes. I've never come up with an original one, but I had one picked out. Let me see what it is, because I have 1,000 of them, and I can tell. But I felt like this particular crowd would have. Oh yeah.
It's not the nuns.
Huh? No, okay. You won't let me tell the nun joke.
You said it so many times.
Well, okay. So back in the times of the Wild West, there was a fierce battle between cowboys and Native Americans, and the Native Americans captured one of the cowboys and brought him back to their village. So the chief came out to greet the prisoner, and he said, "You must die in 3 days, but you get 1 wish per day before you die. What is your first wish?" And the cowboy says, "Well, can you bring my horse over to me?" So they bring him his horse, and the cowboy whispers into the horse's ear, and the horse runs off to town, and he comes back with a beautiful blonde. And so the cowboy takes the blonde into a teepee, and he has sex with her. Okay, now it's the second day, and the chief says, "Okay, you must die in 2 days. What's your second wish?" The cowboy asks for his horse again. He whispers in the horse's ear again, and the horse runs off to town, comes back with a voluptuous redhead. The cowboy takes the redhead into a teepee and he has sex with her. And so on the third day, the chief tells the cowboy, "You must die today. So what's your third and final wish?" cowboy requests his horse again, and the chief says, "Crazy white man." And so the cowboy grabs the horse by his ears, looks straight into the horse's eyes, and says, "Now read my lips. I said bring posse."
I got no follow-up for that. Once again, thank you both for being here so much. Thank you everyone for being here. We have, of course, Rock and Roll High School coming up next. A classic.
Okay. Now you have to listen to me some more. This movie has a little bit of a cult reputation. Yeah, hold on just a minute. You wanted me to tell a joke, so I got way off. I went to my joke file. Yeah, here we go. I wanted to mention, before we move on from Bubba Hotep, Bubba Hotep debuted on the same day as Passion of the Christ. And Joe Lansdale lives in a little East Texas town called Nacogdoches, very historic Texas town. And they have one theater, they have one movie theater there. And he invited Bruce Campbell and Don Coscarelli to come to Nacogdoches for the premiere. And because it was the same day as Passion of the Christ, they only had 2 screens at the theater, and so they had to. There were lines for both movies, because it's a fundamentalist Christian town, and then you had all Joe Lansdale's friends, and so they put a rope down the middle of the sidewalk, and on one side you had Passion of the Christ people, on the other side you had Bubba Hotep people, and Bruce Campbell said it was one of the best experiences of his life. Bruce Campbell loves the movie, by the way, and he wanted Elvis's family to watch it, and he could never get them to watch it. He thought they were bad. All right, I have a question for the audience. How many out there hated high school? How many of you loved high school? And how many of you hated high school? Most of us, right? The movie we're about to watch took its first form in the mind of the nerd Alan Arkush somewhere around 1965. He was a misfit student at Fort Lee High School in Fort Lee, New Jersey. And the 17-year-old Alan Arkush would gaze out the window of his classroom and fantasize about the Yardbirds or the Rolling Stones coming to Fort Lee and doing a special concert just for his high school, something he knew would enrage many of his least favorite teachers. So the Rolling Stones never showed up, but Alan went on to film school across the Hudson River at New York University, and while he was studying film, he got a job working at the famous Fillmore East Rock and Roll Club on the Lower East Side, and where he was the doorman and the ticket taker and the security guy, and he was an all-around fanboy for the greatest rock and roll bands of the 60s as they came through New York. Alan's life was all about rock and roll movies, rock and roll and movies. A few years after that, in 1973, he ended up in LA, broke, sleeping on a foam mattress, but his friend Jonathan Kaplan was running post-production at Roger Corman's New World Pictures. And Kaplan's #1 trailer cutter was Joe Dante. Now, Joe Dante was also from New York, so he didn't know how to drive. So, Alan got a job as Joe Dante's driver and assistant. When I say New York, I don't mean here. I mean people in New York City. And so Alan gets a job as Joe Dante's driver and assistant. And in those days, you could work your way up from assistant trailer cutter, driver to director, and that's exactly what he did. so he could eventually hatch his plot to realize his fantasy of a story about students who use rock and roll to take over the high school and defeat the stuffed shirt authority figures. Fortunately for us, he found an actress named P.J. Souls to be his alter ego, the rebel he always wanted to be. And her character name in the movie is Riff Randall, and Riff Randall declares war on the establishment in what I consider to be the last truly joyful high school movie ever made, even though it involves physically destroying the high school. The movie came out in 1979, did mediocre business at first, but then it took off on the midnight circuit, and it's been a cult favorite ever since. In fact, you have to wonder why all the high school movies made after Rock and Roll High School were so grim or so angst-ridden. It started with Mark Lester. He made Class of 1984, which came out in 1982, a movie that remains one of the most violent movies about teenagers ever made. And it continued up till the present day with various writers and directors doing stories about troubled teens, pissed off teens, anorexic teens, teens with weapons, teens that have such complicated love lives because that they become suicidal, popular teens who are revealed to be mean-spirited sadists, idealistic teachers who have to carry baseball bats in the hallways. You know, that movie was from Patterson, New Jersey. So they can bludgeon at-risk students into doing the right things. Misfits who have to fight against a level of bullying and hazing that goes far beyond anything dreamed of in Rock and Roll High School. Yet all those themes of the modern movies, teen love, teen angst, teen music, teen violence, hazing, punishment, sexual experimentation, sexual fear, all those themes are in this movie because all those things are part of life, but the whole thing is wrapped up in joy. The principal is a fascist, but we still love her. The hall monitors are candidates for the Hitler Youth, but they're easily turned into victims of their own stupidity. The symbols of destruction, the punk band the Ramones, from a time when punk was not that hardcore, the Ramones are the catalyst for Riff Randall's plan to burn down the school, but exploding the school eventually seems like a happy ending. So this may be the last movie that portrays high school as a place you love to hate, but with the emphasis on love, not hate, if that makes any sense to anybody. This movie is kind of a snapshot in time of what a Roger Corman movie was like in the 70s. Paul Bartel is the music teacher. Mary Warrenoff is the principal, determined to crack down on the villainous students. And her adoring henchmen, the hall monitors Hansel and Gretel. They have elaborate sight gags like ear mail, which is a paper airplane that travels throughout the school and ends up in Paul Bartel's ear. That sequence was shot by the Zucker brothers, who did second unit work on the film before their big successes with Airplane and Top Secret and Naked Gun. And it also has weird little cameos like Grady Sutton as the school board president. Grady Sutton goes back to the silent era. He started acting in 1925. And the writers of Rock and Roll High School loved Grady Sutton, especially for his role in The Back Dick in 1940 with W.C. Fields. But he was also in My Fair Lady, My Man Godfrey. He was headed for the motion picture home in Woodland Hills when this movie was made. And this would be his last performance. Clint Howard plays Eagle Bauer, the fixer. One of his best roles, one of his best performances. He's a Las Vegas-style impresario who has a huge office in the boys' room. So the two writers took the name Eagle Bauer from an Ernst Lubitsch movie. Eagle Bauer is the character you never see in that movie. And their inspiration for the character was Phil Silvers. Now, I want to talk about the two writers. Rock and Roll High School was one of those scripts that got passed around New World and reworked numerous times. Roger Corman wanted a movie called Girls' Gym. And he wanted Girls' Gym to follow the formula of previous films he'd done, like The Student Nurses, Candy Striped Nurses, Private Duty Nurses, Student Teachers, Cover Girl Models. All of these movies would use 3 female leads, and they would be interwoven into stories with a lot of sexual innuendo and nudity. So Roger wanted to start a new subgenre called Girls' Gym, and he made it clear that the movie must include nude gymnastics. And so, various drafts of Girls' Gym were written, and then they were combined with a screenplay called Heavy Metal Kid from the Todd Rundgren song. And eventually, Roger decided what he really wanted was a movie called Disco High, because he wanted to take advantage of the Saturday Night Fever craze of the late 70s. So meanwhile, these two young writers, fresh out of film school, show up at the New World offices one day, Rich Whitley and Russ Devanche. And they can't get the attention of Roger, but they do get the attention of Joe Dante and Alan Arkush, who are trying to get Disco High made. So Dante and Arkush tell these two writers, take the Girls' Gym script, choose any part of it to work on, and bring us new pages on Monday. This was on a Friday. And by the way, you want to be mutants in Death Sport? We're shooting some scenes in Griffith Park tomorrow. So Rich and Russ spent the weekend writing all the Eaglebauer scenes, and when they brought them back, they were hired to do the whole movie. They also became mutants in Death Sport, wearing leopard costumes that were salvaged from the movie Papillon. So the freshman who keeps getting abused all through this movie, you know, they open a locker, there he is, imprisoned in the locker. They pick him up and carry him away. They open a file cabinet. He's been stuffed into the file cabinet. The hall monitors shove him up against the wall and give him a demerit for being ugly. You know, that abused freshman is played by Russ Devanche, one of the two writers. Anyway, since it was supposed to be a story about teen rebellion, Alan Arkush eventually had to have a tough meeting with Roger, where Alan said, Roger, we can't call it Disco High. If you call it Disco High, nobody will come. You don't destroy authority with disco music. It has to be rock and roll. And Roger, to his credit, said, Alan, you were right. You choose the music. I've gotten to a point in life where I can't choose the music anymore. And so it became Rock and Roll High School. So whenever Roger had a first-time director, he would have a meeting with him in which he goes over the basic principles of Roger Corman filmmaking. There are about 10 of them. The camera must move at all times. The dialogue scenes must include action, etc. He has a whole list. And then